This is Nikki Yalik, the Volunteer Engagement Coordinator, and today we're going to be doing a short training video on how to create a volunteer account on the volunteer management system. This is for volunteers that do not have any kind of existing active account on the system and are creating a brand new one, registering for the very first time. To do so, you'll see up here at the top right of the screen, there is this yellow button to sign up. You'll start by clicking that button. And it takes you to step 1 of 3 to create your account. We'll just go ahead and start entering our information into the system. I created another email address for the purpose of this training video that I'll enter in there. As you can see, it just asks you for some basic contact information that we can get a hold of you, and that also so that we can, generally know where volunteers are located throughout the state of Colorado, since we do have events running all throughout the state. And if you do want to see what you're typing into the password, it's got this handy little eyeball function, so you can see your password right there. You'll want to go ahead and select yes there so that you can get reminders for your volunteer positions. And then it requires you to select yes. You must be at least 13 years of age to register on the volunteer management system. Then we'll click the create your account button. It'll take us to step 2 of the registration process. I always like to save my password whenever I'm registering for a new online account like this. Makes it a little bit easier to sign in. And now, as you can see here on page 2, it's going to ask you a few more questions. If you're a returning 9 Health volunteer or 365 Health volunteer, what primary role have you filled? I am a non-medical volunteer, so I'll just go ahead and select this option. But as you can see, if you're a leadership volunteer, it gives you several options to select as appropriate below there. It's going to ask you if you're a medical student. I am not a medical student. Do you have any physical limitations? Can you draw blood? I cannot draw blood. And then it's also going to ask you here if you are a student phlebotomist. You can go ahead and enter that box in there. That way we know that you'll want to have a preceptor or instructor accompanying you when you come in and volunteer with us. Now that we finish that page, we'll continue on to the next step. And this is page 3 of the registration process. You can see it's going to ask you a few more questions about qualifications. The first thing it's going to ask is for you to sign our volunteer commitments and values agreement. It'll just give you a little pop-up here. You'll click continue there in the blue box. And then please feel free to take your time to read through this. It's really just asking for some, just some basics of our volunteers to make sure that you're not, under the influence of alcohol or drugs. Please make sure to always respect diversity, refrain from using any kind of offensive language. Please make sure to keep your volunteer time confidential with us, as, obviously a lot of what we're doing relates to people's personal health, and there's a lot of privacy that needs to go with that. And then, of course, anyone who's convicted of a felony, we ask that you disclose that to our staff. So you'll just go ahead and type in your signature here and the date. To that handy little pop-up box. Complete the signing. You consent to signing this document electronically. I'll go ahead and select the blue yes button. All right, so the waiver has been submitted. So now it's just going to ask you a few more questions about other kinds of experience that you may have. Do you have any professional finance experience? I do not. Do you have any marketing, communications, or publicity experience? I have a little bit of experience there. Do you have any event planning experience? Yes. Are you a mental health professional? In this case, I am definitely not a mental health professional. And then if you have a mental health certification, we ask that you would select it from this list. That doesn't apply to me, but as you can see, these are the options available. Do you have a medical license or certification? So this doesn't apply to me. I would put no here, but we do ask that if you are going to be a medical volunteer with us, that you please do select yes, and that you go ahead and upload your medical certification here. If you select yes, it is going to ask you to select your specific type of certification from these options here. And then some of our medical volunteers do have a secondary license or certification. If that applies to you, we would ask that you please select that from the drop-down box under the secondary license or certification. And then we would really appreciate it. It's very important that you go ahead and upload your primary medical license or certification when you're going through the registration on the volunteer management system. It just makes it a lot easier on our staff because we really need to have that information on file, and generally you're going to have that much more readily available. Otherwise, the member of our staff will have to go and research that information or reach out to you to get a hold of it. So we'll ask you to complete that, and then once you've done so, you will just go ahead and click continue to next step. And you are registered to use the volunteer management system. Congratulations. So from here, you would just click continue. And then as you can see, now I'm logged into the system here. If you are ever looking to log into the system for the first time, all you would need to do so, I will log out here just to show you. And then from the page where we first signed up, where that yellow sign up button was, now I will just go one button to the right, click this blue login button. And now that I'm registered for the system, this is where I will go to log in the future. And that is how you create a volunteer account. Thank you all so much. If you have any questions whatsoever, please reach out to the volunteer engagement team at ve@365health.org. Thank you all very much.